Well, this was fun in theory.
Are we back?
It is redirecting me. Let's see. Level Technologies is live now, are we? That's a good question. Oh boy. Now it says we're this is fun in theory.
Are we back?
It is redirecting me. Live on Facebook. We are live. We didn't even realize it. Okay, we're back.
We are.
We're
Okay.
back.
Okay. If this drops off again, we will be back. Probably just
apologize.
The normal way, but sorry about that. This is an experiment. So thank you for hanging in with us. Don't give up on us.
Don't give up on us.
We were talking about, and you can tell if it drops off. Can you see from your end if it drops off?
Yeah.
Okay. This is so exciting. This is so exciting.
Mm.
All right.
Cutting edge here. We are on the cutting edge.
What are we building again? Roofs? So we were talking about roofs, and we were talking about why roofs are pitched like this.
Yes. Oh, and we've got Wyatt and Liam and Quentin here. Excellent. All right. Good. We got folks back on.
Fingers crossed that this actually works here. All right. So again, if you missed this before, we want you to put in, if you can think of any and all reasons why we have roofs. And there's obvious ones, but there's some that are not obvious. And also we're talking about why roofs, a lot of them we see are pitched. So Mike, let's throw out a few obvious ones. Why do you think some might be, or roofs might have this shape to them? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, so that things can run off of them so that things don't stack up on there like water and snow and things like that.
Yeah, so when you're building bridges or houses or anything, there's a few different loads that you have to contend with. And just real quick, so we can remember some words you might not have known before, there are these three main loads. It's something called, and it's probably reversed right now for you.
No,
I don't know if it's mirror
looks
image.
good to me.
You're gonna have to figure it out. The dead load, the live load, and the dynamic load. So the dead load is basically the weight of a roof itself. So the roof has to support itself first. Then there's the live load, which is something that is temporary. So that's what Mike is talking about. Like if rain puddles on there, the weight of the water, or snow is a huge one, or if there's workers that have to be on top of your roof, those are live loads. Those are loads that aren't permanent. And your roof has to be strong enough so that doesn't break. And then there's dynamic.
Laura got that exactly right. She said pitch is there to keep precipitation off. So that's what we were talking about. Yeah.
Exactly, Laura. Yes. Okay, good. And yes, so we can live in a home, Caleb. That's exactly right. And the roof keeps off the rain and the snow. And then the last one is dynamic load. Dynamic means moving.
Like really exciting.
It's very exciting, the exciting load. So dynamic load would be something like wind, or like a hurricane, or something that is really pushing and moving, or maybe even like a tree brushing against your roof might be considered a dynamic load. So we got to make roofs that are really strong and that maybe are pitched in a way so that all these things can run off the sides. So I'm going to show one way to make a pitched roof. That's a really simple way. Then Mike has a really cool method that uses some pieces you might have at home. So I've got my house. Mike, what is it called again when you put bricks over cracks of other bricks?
Oh, I don't know. That's one I've never talked about. Oh, wait, I mentioned it on almost every single live stream I'm on. Overlapping.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So
don't make me start rapping, Ben.
Go for it, anytime. Freestyle. So if these little slope pieces are great to make roofs, obviously, okay, if you have enough of them. So what I'm going to do is put a few like this. And you can see these are kind of made. I'm going to make a little overhang. A lot of roofs you see have overhangs too. And I want to see, again, another challenge for your comments. Why you think roofs have an overhang like this? And typically you don't see a slope going right to the edge like this. Why do you not see that? And why do you think you do see roofs that hang on the edge? So see if you can answer that one as well. So basically, if you're going to make a roof like this, I have my little overhang like this, and then I'm going to add some bricks on the side, and then I'm going to continue my slope on the other side, and then add kind of the crown, the pointed part of my roof like this. Are we still on? Is it all working?
We are still on. We're
Did I jinx it? And so now I can go like this and finish my roof like this. And if you might even have a little crown piece like this, which can go on and stick on like that. And one of my favorite things to do to make interesting houses and buildings is to start maybe a roof like this, but where I have a space, maybe to continue up with some kind of a building and actually build a small room or an extension or an upstairs popping out of my roof here, and maybe add like another little room up top or another window. So
nice.
This is one really simple way to make roofs like this. And another way, and then I'm going to let Mike go, is to use just bricks like this, and you can see you can achieve that sloped shape with bricks. And this is a little trickier, but I'm just going to show you briefly how to do that, and then Mike, you're going to take it away. So anything to add there? So
Beautiful roof.
Thank you. So the trick is when you're making these, and some of you know this if you've ever built pyramids with us before in any of our classes with your awesome Lego Playwell instructor, when you're making a pyramid, it can be a little bit hard. But the first thing to do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my 2x4 bricks, and I'm going to make a perimeter, and I want my roof to have an overhang. So you can see I'm going just on the outside edge like this. And I'm going to walk around the outside edge so that it's going to overhang on both sides like this. And so once I finish that, the trickiest thing is starting the next level. Because when you're going to go up and you want to have that pitched roof, you want to have it start going in, what happens is sometimes people might do this. They might put a brick just right on there, which is not overlapping. And then this whole section can kind of break off. And also it doesn't allow you to pitch on the end. It kind of makes a flat edge here, which is okay for some roofs, but we want to overlap even when we're kind of staggering and going up. So what the trick is to always start in the corner. And you can see I added a brick right in the corner like this. So I have a little one stud row along here and along the short end. And then I always will continue around kind of like a train. I'll just go like that was my locomotive, and I'm going to add cars to my train going around, wrapping around like this, and continuing around the other side. So
while you're building this up, let's come back to the why do we have overhangs question.
Yeah, some people add some of those. Let's hear it.
I haven't seen it. Caleb said that he has overhang on his house, but I haven't seen any reasons why we have the overhang on there.
Oh, I think so. Laura says the pitch is to keep precipitation off. That's good. Yeah. So think about maybe with precipitation, if you can think like rain or snow, if you can think if there's any reason there why the overhang might help. And I'm going to build this up to the top. And Mike, do you want to talk a little bit about what roof you've kind of put together on your end now?
Yeah. So I have my house here as well. I didn't have the fancy doors and windows that Ben has, so I just left some spaces. No, I'm just kidding. So I did mine the same way I started that Ben started, the one that he's working on right now. I have this overhang, right? So same kind of thing, starting in the corner so that it's overhanging by just one stud on all directions there, right? But then maybe you don't have a lot of bricks, or you just want a different style of roof here. So I decided that I wanted to get something sloping, like a flat sloped surface on mine. So I started with just two of these little 2x4s with a 2x4 sticking off the edge, and I'm going to put those on the skinnier edge of my house because I want my sloped roof to cover the longer side. Okay, so I've got just a little kind of triangle built up there, and that top 2x4 is sticking in because that's going to support my roof that I use. So let me tilt you down here so you can see here. All right, so I've got my house built, right, and I've got these top 2x4s just sticking in just a little bit, and then all I'm going to do is take a plate And because I have this overhang here, I've got a little kind of lip for it to be grabbed by there, and I can drop it in. And there's one side of my roof.
Is so cool. And then Mike, what happens if kids don't have a plate that's maybe that wide? Is there something
Yeah,
else?
you can do any combination of plates. So I only had one of them that was that wide. So on the other side here, I have two plates that are combined that I stuck together with another little one behind there to make it the length I need. Another option is to add some like shingles. So I added some different colored gray ones to look sort of like shingles on this side. But it's still, that plate is just slotting down in there and then resting against that center 2x4. And I've got my sloped roof on there.
It kind of looks like the roof does this. It looks like it comes down and then out a little bit.
Yeah, true. Very, very fancy, fancy roof there. And then you've got a few bricks on the side. I can add a little chimney over there.
So it's pretty cool because, I mean, this is why this is so fun, because I don't think I've ever built a roof like that. And so it's such a fun thing to be able to learn, you know, different methods of doing it. Not, it's just leaning there. And the cool thing about what Mike did there too is, what if you wanted to play inside or add some furniture inside? What could you do?
There you go. Now you can get in.
Which is pretty neat. And so for the
Which ties
playability,
into something else you had, right, Ben?
yeah. So for the playability, oh, here's my finished roof here. And if I wanted to overhang even more, oh, I could even, this is kind of interesting. I could add a little awning with my roof tiles and have it go even further out. But no, I'm going to demolish it.
That goes really nicely for my other reason for the overhang, which is to make an energy efficient house.
So talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I won't go into too much detail. I don't want to.
No, do it. I want to hear about it.
But basically, if you have those overhangs during different seasons, the sun is higher or lower in the sky. So in the summer, generally, the sun is higher in the sky. So you think about it shining down on your building, and say you have an overhang. I have one little slope piece I can put there. If the sun is really high in the sky and it's shining down on your overhang, it's going to get blocked by that overhang, the light, which is going to keep your house cooler in the summer when it's hot. But then in the winter, when the sun is lower in the sky, the light can shine into your house and actually help keep your house warmer. So that's like the basic idea behind the overhang and energy efficiency. It lets the heat in when you want it in the winter, and it keeps it out in the summer when you don't want it. There you go. It's a beautiful drawing, Ben.
Thank you. So again, I think it's like, and I forget what it is. It depends on what hemisphere you're in, right, Mike? Like if you want to have that overhang, because in the summer months, it's going to be higher, and that's when you want to keep it out. Winter months lower. So I guess in the northern hemisphere, you want the overhang kind of on your south facing side, I think.
Right.
Anyway, so that's really interesting. So again, it's not just precipitation, but sun is a big one. Keeping sun out. And what about insulation, Mike? What is insulation? Do you know about like how that helps and why roofs can help?
Yeah, which side of my roof here has more insulation? Huh? I guess this side has more insulation, right? So same idea as you're looking to prevent heat from escaping out of your roof of your house. When you're heating your house, you don't want to lose all that heat that you're generating.
Exactly, and insulation can help keep unwanted heat out, and it could also, and so your house can stay cooler because it bounces the light, and the heat can't get in through all the insulation, and it can also keep heated houses warmer longer because you just have less going in and out. It's like a thicker skin, you can imagine.
Yep.
Now, the last few things we wanted to show you.
Good job, Johnny. You were looking at which one had more insulation. You got it.
Oh, good. Awesome. So another thing I wanted to show you real quick is this kind of weird method where if you want to start with a roof, where if you have a plate or something that has, I have these two bricks here that would fit right in this space, and I'm actually going to put it upside down on top of my roof. So it's studs, and so they're not going to lock together even if you push hard, and that lets you pull it off. And then if you say, oh, this is going to gather snow and everything, you could then try to make a roof on top of it that's upside down. And if you want to, I've never done this. I don't know if I can find it, but I've got some, I've never actually done this, but some of these slopes that are upside down, You could
Ooh,
even build up a sloped roof that is upside down like this,
yes.
and build it up like that if you have enough of these things. And then again, it can sit on here and it won't stick down, so it lets you play with what's inside.
So
Um,
coming back to what Ben was saying about like being on here and like sharing ideas, like I haven't done that before. And I've been in class countless times with kids who don't want to add a roof on their house because they want to be able to get in easily. Or kids who, when they're building the roof, it gets so tricky and then things fall in and they can't retrieve them. I'm totally going to use this now. Like just flip
upside
that
down.
plate upside down, put
Yeah,
a couple of bricks to lock it in, and you can take it off super easily, get in there.
and this is one of the most fun things. Like it's Mike can talk about it, but when Playwell instructors, when we get together, we have so much fun. We just mess around and we build and we share ideas, and it's so hard because normally we're out there teaching all these great kids out across the country, and it's
And
just
they're
us.
sharing their ideas with us.
And we learn things from the kids too, but we don't get to talk very often with each other, so it is so fun to do this. So
Totally.
a few other little things. This is kind of an interesting. I'm not going to show this one yet. It's. I'm going to show you another thing. Is if you have any kind of hinges at home. So this is kind of like a little hinge that can bend. Okay, and then if you could also, a lot of Lego pieces have hinges, maybe even like this, that have things that can snap together. This little bar piece and the little gripper piece or whatever, and you can snap them together. That's another way that you can potentially kind of add. Let me see if I can figure this out. If I put that hinge on the side like this and then added, I might need a little plate. Sorry, hold on. If I get a few of these hinges and put them on here like this, I'm not going to build a whole roof, but I'll just show you maybe a side of one. So a hinge is kind of up like that. And then I can put a roof section on like this. Okay, let me see if it's going to work here. And you can have like a roof section like this. And then you can get any sloped roof. Oh my gosh, as long as you don't break off your hinge, you can get any sloped roof. And this, again, it can open if you want to have it open. And the cool thing about this kind of roof, and kind of like what Mike was saying, is you can make designs on this. Like Mike added the bricks on it. You
Mm-hmm.
can do anything. Like if you have just a bunch of 1x plates, you could put a bunch of 1x plates on here and make them kind of look like shingles, like a shingled roof, like kind of a rainbow shingled roof. I don't know. So you could do tons
Totally.
of different things, have it overhang and look kind of like an old slat roof. Another really fun thing that you could do. I've got this. It's one of these pieces with studs on the side, and you could really decorate this and give it some texture. What I'm gonna do, I know you can't see what I'm doing yet, is I'm adding some rounds like this to it. And if I put a
Ooh.
bunch of these on it, then it starts to look kind of like a, what are those, Mike? Like those Adobe kind of those shingle type things.
Yeah, or the Spanish style rounded stone.
Yeah, the Spanish style, like those rounded ceramic or
Yeah.
shingles. And so you can really kind of have fun if your roof is like on a space base or a cottage. Oh my gosh, you could add kind of some interesting textures like this, which give
Nice.
your roof some extra, personality, which is kind of a fun thing. And so that's a benefit of using either the hinges or Mike's technique where it just leans, is you've got those studs that you can actually build on that you can't really do with roofs
Right.
like this. I don't know. That's really kind of it. I did build these as well. You remember from our when we built our first second level of our treehouse, what a triangular structure is called that's really strong. It's called a truss. And
Yes.
this I basically made by bolting a bunch of Technic beams together. And this you could stick that on here and stick another one over here. And I have these monster plates. I don't know how the spacing is going to go on these, but then you can stick a big old, this could support your roof as well. And, oh man, the spacing is off. Hold on. Anyway, you get the idea. There's one half, and here's another half, and that is a serious overhang. That's like a winter cottage or something. You can't even
Yes.
more. That's too much. I got to get a smaller plate. But this is so fun to do some tiling, or those little cheese wedge pieces are so beautiful. You could
Yeah.
kind of do texturing things like that. So, Mike, anything else you can
Who knew
think
there were
of?
so many different things we could talk about with just roofs?
I know. Mike and I said, let's just experiment. Let's just hop on and hang out for a bit. What can we do? And
I
so let's
love
just
it.
do roofs. So anyway, in your comments, Mike and I have been loving doing this with you all, but we want to know from you all too, what one thing, if we do these together, what would be fun for you to see us do or build? Little lessons like this. We can't always do it because we've got other stuff to work on as well, but once in a while would be so fun for us. So give us ideas of things in this video that we could do together. And also just on the videos we do alone, any other cool things you would like us to see,
Yeah.
builds that you would like us to see, because Mike and I have got a lot of ideas, but how many is this Playwell Live number 29 or something?
29.
29. Crazy. And we're going to keep going as long as we can. So we want to make sure this is as fun and helpful to you all. So I don't know, Mike, anything else before we kind of head off today?
I think that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow, and then Ben on Friday. Yeah, keep those ideas coming, and keep sharing what you build with hashtag #PlayWellAtHome, or just sharing that on our page or commenting, whatever. We love seeing what you're creating. Oh, good. Okay, we got an idea for an AT-AT walker. I am a big fan of the walkers, and so yeah, that might have to happen.
Mike and I will think about which ones would be good for us to maybe try together and share ideas like this, because both Mike and I learned from each other today about this. And you'll see, this is kind of what our online classes are like. So if you ever do classes online, you can still learn and share a lot of ideas even through this silly computer here. So
totally.
Mike,
all right, I think that's it for today.
We'll see you soon. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.